Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pregame show. I'm so sorry. I'm nearly 3 minutes late. Ken, I wasn't cooking up a souvlaki. I was actually on the phone to one of my friends and I was beating him down because he's a Carlton supporter and I lost track of time. I got lost in the sauce. Thanks, baby. That was good. As you can see, have I got the time right here? 2 hours and 23 minutes until the first bounce. I'd like to think I got that right, okay? So, anyhow, we've started off slow. Collingwood versus Sydney, pre-game show. Welcome to everyone that's in the chat. I hope we're all doing well and I hope we're starting to build up that weekend energy and hopefully we can get started with a really comprehensive win against Sydney in Adelaide. We know our record is good, more than good in Adelaide. So hopefully we can get the job done. They've got players out. We've got players out. We've got the Houstons. We've got the DeGoes. We've got the shooters out. But they've also got Papley, Goulden, Melican, Mills, Adams. So all is even in that regard. So what I want to do is actually talk about an article that I saw today that I want to share. I think it was in relation to Ned Long. So let's go here. Let's go news. The long shot. Second chance pie making every post a winner. Let's read it out. So it's in regards to Ned Long. They're referring a tennis player in the opening paragraph. Dear me. Yannick Sinner won the 2024 Australian Open, but Ned Long didn't spend the fortnight tracking the Italian world number one at Melbourne Park. He was tracking something else. Months after being delisted by Hawthorn, the midfielder had just started his first proper job as a data analyst in sports tech. When he wasn't inside the office above the Duke of Wellington on the corner of Russell and Flinders Street or trying to land a second chance at Collingwood Football Club, Long was at the tennis monitoring what time people arrived, where they went, what they ate and what they bought. The second chance arrived via last year's mid-season rookie draft when the Magpies used the second last live pick to promote the 22-year-old from his VFL program to the AFL squad 9 months after Hawthorn delisted the 194cm midfielder after just 5 games and 2 years at Waverley Park. Just rewinding back to that time in the mid-season draft last year where we took Illaru Smith with our first pick and then it seemed like Ned Long was inevitably going to be transitioned over to our AFL list with the sort of performances he was putting on at VFL level with his ability to impact the scoreboard and also was probably averaging somewhere near 10 tackles a game as well as 22, 23 touches a game. So there was always going to be that second chance with those types of performances right under the nose of the AFL selection or recruitment team at Collingwood. So kudos to him for initially grabbing that opportunity with both hands, and we'll carry on here. But since then, Long has only played once more in the VFL. Interesting, I didn't know that. So since he's been picked up the mid-season draft, Ned Long has only played one game in the VFL since. And I remember when he came into the side, or when he came to the AFL side, he'd come in with a bit of a calf niggle. So he missed a few initial weeks. And then he found himself in the squad against Essendon in round 17 last year and has kept picking him since, regards to Fly McRae. Long has played 11 of the past 12 games, including all 4 to start 2025. I imagine more than half of those games would be substitutes, but nevertheless, Long is still working a day each week for PMI around a commerce degree he started in 2024 and his time at Collingwood. His time outside the system was brief, but enough to reset his direction after staring football mortality in the eye. It was a challenging time, says Long, But the one thing that I'm grateful for is it was forced me into starting a job and seeing a different aspect of life. And I think AFL players are being nurtured into other domains and pursuits in life to concurrently run with along with their AFL aspirations, because injuries happen, because concussions happen, because your passion falls out at times. So maybe by the sounds of this, Ned Long had too many eggs in one basket. But I suppose when you're really young, there's probably no other way. In my opinion, I think if you want to be the best of the best, you've got to go all in. If you want to be an okay player, then sure, maybe you can do well in studies and also be really good on the field, and then maybe something else. But if you want to be one of one, you've got to treat it like it's the only thing that matters to you in your life, beyond your even your family sometimes. So he started working for Tennis Australia when he was at the Collingwood VFL side, and he's been lucky enough to keep that going while he's been in an AFL program, which is one day a week, and it's pretty flexible. When Hawthorn opted not to offer him another contract at the end of 2023, Long considered his options far and wide. He met with a few VFL clubs and even contemplated a move across the border to play for Norwood in the SANFL, eventually choosing to stay home. Collingwood had spots open during the preseason supplemental selection period that summer. They invited 6 players to train and ultimately selected Lockie Sullivan, Bytel, Josh Eyre. But Long never stopped impressing the Magpies with his work rate, aggression, and persistence, and was eventually rewarded. Interesting. So did Ned Long trade in the preseason last year for the Pies? I don't quite remember that. So he was looked at for the preseason supplemental period. It was about what it would be best for the club and the best opportunity to get back into the AFL. Collingwood had list spots available at the time, and in speaking to them, they were looking to reward and bring up VFL players to the AFL. It felt like a good opportunity, and I would have a good chance to make that transition. Collingwood is stacked with box office names: Nick Dacos, DeGoey, Pendles, Darcy Moore, but McRae seldom wastes an opportunity to shine a light on an unheralded role player less than 45 minutes after last Thursday night's win over Carlton. The Premiership coach pointed out the impact of Long. He did it again on Wednesday. Every role actually matters to McRae. So we saw in that post-game press conference Fly pretty much deeming that Ned Long will be starting fast forward to tonight. So his, I've said it over the course of the week, his resilience, his persistence, his approach with his mentality, he's put his ego to the side in a situation where with the performances he's had when he has started and the performances when he's come on as a sub, he probably would have been, most players would have been adamant that they'd earned themselves a spot to start the following week. That hasn't happened for Ned Long in many instances. Not only this year, but even last year, there were performances where he came on as a sub and did really well. So, for that alone, it shows a lot of mental fortitude in such a young man who's built like a tank and is going to do a lot of great things. And I really am hoping he can do some big things for us tonight. Ned Long says, Fly has been huge to me. He's always backed me in, and it's the way he talks and also through his actions. I feel like he gives me a chance and has rewarded me with games. It makes you feel valued, and from there, being able to play with that belief has been great. It makes you play freer, and I think this makes a difference in performance. When your coach backs you in and you can feel that and you sense that, it does go a long way. Long has started as a sub in 3 of the 4 games to this point of 2025. He was also the sub twice last year and only played a quarter in opening round and round 4. He produced the best game of his career when he started against Port Adelaide in round 1. He collected 24 disposals, 14 contested possessions, 7 tackles. The aim, obviously, is to start more often, but something is better than nothing. And he's getting more than something tonight with this opportunity. Although Ned Long says, whatever role I can contribute in, I'm very happy to do it. It is a great team and a very healthy overall. Being the sub, I am accustomed to it. I feel like I've developed a bit of a routine. Not that I want to stay in it, but I've given the trust that I can feel that role and impact when I come on. ahead of the Friday night gather-round fixture. The more times you do it, the more you build a routine, but it is hard sitting on a bench and not knowing if it'll be the first 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes. I found out how to stay calm, engaged enough in the game, and he's ready to the point where he doesn't have too much amped up energy and loses it all, and make sure he's not overly involved while being on the bench and not wasting that energy for the time that he does come on. So, and this is probably something that a lot of players are going to have to get used to in the black and white this year, and that's probably players, veterans who will be asked to take a seat and be the sub and find a way to impact later in the game and manage your way through, or maybe you're not the best matchup for this game. So the fact that Ned Long is well trained in this, and if you really look, if Ned Long ends up being the super sub of the season, then so be it. It's a means to an end. It's a means to an end. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to the comments. Let's see what's going on. What are we saying in here? Ooh, okay. Let's catch up. Pasindu says, when will the sub be announced before them publishing on AFL app? Usually it'll be an hour beforehand. However, we'll keep an eye on Twitter and see if I think I have got the times wrong here, haven't I? 1 second. I think how long till the game starts? So the game starts in an hour 40. So I need to change that quickly. Give me 1 moment. Countdown timer. Properties. There we go. Tools, scripts. I'm learning how to use all these things. So it would be an hour 40, right? That would be 80 minutes, right? Are we 80 minutes away? No, we're not. You guys are watching my horrible maths in real time, by the way. We're an hour and 40 away. So in 40 minutes, we will know, maybe just before on Twitter, we will know who the sub may be. I think we all have an inkling that's going to be Ed Allen. However, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Lockie Sullivan now. Just thinking that he played the full game 5 days out from Sunday to Friday, played against the Coburg Lions. Ed Allen and Will Hoskin-Elliott played 3 quarters, maybe less, knowing that they were probably going to come in the following week. Whereas Lockie Sullivan, we were a little bit unsure of. So I'm not sure. Maybe Lockie Sullivan does get the sub role tonight. Reedy says, here he is, the great man himself, says you. Charlie West laid in, you reckon, Steve-O? I mean, he's an emergency. Radelaide half an hour behind, bro. Okay, yeah, so 7:40. Long sounds like he has a great attitude from the article. It was a good article, but I think even before the article, he's one of those guys where you can just kind of tell in the manner that he carries himself. So there's no surprise as to where he is at the moment in his career. Mick Sucker says, are the Facebook rumors true about Checkers being a late out and Charlie West debuting? Hold on a minute. What's going on here? Give me a moment. I haven't heard about this. Let me check X. I checked X not long ago, didn't I? Facebook rumors, you reckon? Thursday night, one let go. Anything here? I'm not seeing anything there. If I search Charlie West, usually if you're going to find something out, usually it's through Twitter, you know what I mean? Not seeing anything about Charlie West being laid out, but I don't actually use Facebook, Mick, so you might have to enlighten me a little bit. Jack, I think we win, mate. I wouldn't trust Facebook, says Ken. What's wrong with my check? Why is he not playing tonight? I'm happy to see Charlie West make his debut tonight for Collingwood. You heard Checkers is still sore. Not sure if it's true, though. Okay. I haven't watched him train. I haven't heard about how Cheika's trained over the course of the week. We know he missed. No, he didn't miss Carlton. He played. He put in a mighty shift, although it didn't translate to his scoreboard himself. He had 5 shots, 3 behinds, 2 didn't register. So, yeah, I mean, it would be unfortunate for Charlie West, but I'm pretty sure Mason Cox is also an emergency. So, who do you go? Do you go Mason Cox or do you go Charlie West? I wonder. And Charlie West is from South Australia, so it would certainly be a feel-good story. We need a solid 4-quarter effort tonight, boys. Not going to be easy, and please kick the set shot, says Manny. We're getting the opportunities. We're just not converting them. We're getting the scoring shots. We're getting a good volume of return of scoring shots per inside 50. We just need to convert them. Good kicking is good footy, says Steve-O. Do I think Nicholas Allen says, do I think Charlie Dean, TJ, and Dean Whitty will have a shot this season? I'm sure they'll all have an opportunity at some point. Maddie and Missy Travel says, we'll see before the game of Checkers is in or out, or if Charlie West gets a debut, that would be good. Dom says, if we kick straight, we win. Simple. I'm surprised they didn't bring in Cox tonight. John Caxos says he was the highest rated player in our VFL team last year. I think he made the VFL state side, but he's surprising with the quality of his skills, and his kicking his kicking is definitely AFL level. Interesting. Yeah, is this regarding Ned Long, John, from the article we were just talking about? I said going into the season, I'm like, I just don't know if he can play AFL level because of his lack of kicking range and vision and composure, but it has been anything but. Like, I don't think we've needed to rely on that. I think he's doing his defensive work so well. He's kicking goals. He kicked that goal against Carlton. Like, he's just doing the other things right, and he's doing it so well that doesn't really matter if he's not an elite kick. Like, we can compensate because we got Pendles, who is an elite kick. We've got Nick Dacos, who's an elite kick. Still, Sidebottom is back to where his kicking efficiency is used to. It'll be 21 degrees. Hold on. Where is it? One sec, guys. I'm just catching up comments. MD Melbourne says, my daughter and nephew are at the game tonight. Had to work today. I'm spewing I'm not there. You're from Adelaide, aren't you, MD? Here you go. Or you're from Melbourne, but your nephew and daughter have travelled there. There you go. Hey, Anthony, my son is going to the game tonight. I'm jealous. I wish I was there. Perfect conditions in Adelaide. No excuse of some missing goals. Says, Manny, I know you're from Adelaide. You've made that very clear. Are you going to the game or are you watching it from your dungeon? Mark says, nervous tonight for some reason. I guess Swans can turn it on, so I guess we'll find out. Mark, I recall you saying we wouldn't beat Carlton last week. You've been a little bit pessimistic about the Pies this year, and mate, fair enough. I'm not gonna hold you for ransom for it. I'm just saying. So I can see why you're nervous. If you didn't think we were going to beat Carlton, what makes you think we're going to beat Sydney? You know what I mean? Bobby's good at score involvements. We need to hit the scoreboard tonight, says Maddie Missy Travels. I agree. Time for Bobby to lift, whether it's Bobby or Bo or Jamie. Just one of them needs to pop up and put some scoreboard pressure and cover the hole that Lockie Schultz is leaving tonight. DC to Monster Grundy tonight, says Steve-O. I mean, let's not underestimate Brodie Grundy going into this game because he's been... well, I don't know about his form over the course of the season, but I watched the game against North Melbourne very closely, and he definitely beat Tristan Sherry. And Tristan Sherry is supposed to be the form ruckman of the league over the last 12 to 24 months. So he's going to have his hands full. I think DC will get him in the aerial. I think Brodie Grundy is going to cause issues at the ground level, becomes that fourth midfielder, which is what he did ever so well for us while he was in the black and white. Manny says, never ever confident playing these shit kickers. Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I can't remember the last time I was confident going into a Sydney game. They just, not that they have the wood over us, it's always a good contest. I mean, we've lost, I think we've lost 6 or 7 of our last 10 against them, so the record does speak for itself. Anyone else here? Let's catch up. What else are we saying, guys? Sullivan is good defensively. He'll play shooter's role. And I think Jojo was saying that yesterday. What we expect from Lachie Sullivan is to do the things that Lachie Schultz does defensively. And we're not going to be overly worried about how Sullivan goes on the offense side of things. If he scores a goal or two or a goal assist here or there, that's a bonus. We just want Lachie Sullivan to do the defensive stuff, and we can hope that Bobby Hill or Jamie Elliott can compensate for the couple goals a game that Lachie Schultz has been able to provide for us so far this year. Kynan says, we win. We win. Get Cox in, says William Holt. I say pause. Steve-O asks, where's Caleb? It's been a minute since he was on here. Ha ha ha. Look, I actually had a conversation with Caleb over the offseason. I just felt like I wanted to do this on my own. I felt like it just felt right for the time being. I'm not ready to bring people in. This is it's a hard one to explain. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of it. Caleb and I are still very close. It's just, I told him, I said it's just the me thing, and I want to do this on my own, and this is where I'm at the moment. I'm not ready to bring anyone into this, and this is what it is. But he's still around in the chat from time to time, and we still talk, so it's all good. Chris Talbot, I have not heard about this Facebook news regarding my check. You have to tell me where you're hearing this from specifically. He's not roughed on AFL tonight. I'm watching him now. Said nothing. Okay. Jazza says, it's going to be a very close game. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat just watching it. Yeah. It's Sydney, man. But it's not. It's Sydney and Adelaide. So that gives me a little bit of peace of mind knowing how well we play there. Mick Sucker says, I made mistake following too many Facebook Collingwood pages. A lot of foolish shit. That's why we just stick to what we know over here, Mick. YouTube and Twitter, and that's all you need, mate. YouTube and Twitter. Are you working tonight, Mick, or are you going to be able to watch the game? John says, I'm predicting a big game from Elliott tonight, 4 goals. Would be huge. I'd like him to save those 4 goals for his 200-game milestone next week, though. Maybe a couple goals and like 20-odd touches for DC in his 100th game tonight. What about that? Every time we miss a set shot, I get the sick feeling. Don't know about anyone else. It's the feeling of like, not necessarily that one missed set shot, but when you miss back-to-back set shots and you're owning territory, you just know there's going to be one hack kick out from defensive 50 and it's just going to bounce. It's just going to bounce to the left of Billy Frampton, and Billy Frampton's just not going to turn in time. It's just going to evade Darcy Moore. And then you've got Chad Warner and Will Hayward running onto it and just running away with it. That's what scares me. The domination in forward half territory, and then just seeing one lucky ball bounce one way or the other, hat kick out of the back, and then we have to eat shit, and they get an easy goal out the back. That's what shits me the most. Lance Ward says, Pies by 21, God willing. Amen. Thanks, Matty. Miss you. Appreciate it, mate. Go Pies. Forward line need to apply the pressure tonight. Swans back line are deadly on rebound. Even without Goulden and all those types of high caliber players in Mills, they found some bloody good replacements. Riley Bice is playing really well. There's another player, Braden Campbell as well. So they got some killers, man. They got some killers by foot. We got to be careful. And their pressure in the forward half was present all last year. It'll be present again. It has been present again this year. So we've just got to be mindful we've got to be very cautious of what we're going into tonight. Like we could definitely get our pants stripped down. Like we could be coming back and doing the post game show at around 10:45, 10:50, and we go, fuck. That's the game we were hoping we wouldn't cop. But hopefully we're not there. Hopefully we're coming back and we're going 4-1, and we're on our way to we're setting the foundation for a top 4 finish. That's what I'm hoping it is going to be. Sydney has been a bit of a bogey team for us, so hopefully we can turn it around, says Harry Leonard. Exactly what we've been saying. Steve O'Stannis says Peter Dacos sub. Get him in. No Papley tonight, prick. Manny says, got my daughter here, bro, this weekend. In dungeon, big screen, full blast lights. That's the one. OG. Mark says, when I'm pessimistic about winning, we usually do win, so I'll stay with my formula. What's the word when you're that's your superstition. That's your path to victory. Be pessimistic and we'll win. I don't mind it. I'm with it. If it means we win, I'm with you, Mark. If they tag Nick, should we tag Heaney? I think there'll be certain assignments. When Heaney rolls forward, we're gonna have this player on him, maybe Isaac Quaynor. When Heaney's in the middle, do we try Ned Long on him? Maybe we try Pendlebury in the stoppages where it's nice and tight. Those are the things I'm thinking about. Pies by 172 points is half eaten dim sim. Mick says Pies by 24. Ned Long will officially announce himself as an elite inside mid. Damn. Mick's gone early. I don't know if I can vouch for you on that one, Mick. You're on your own. Oh, hey, I want Ned Long to be an elite inside mid, but I think he's going to be a really good role-playing inside mid. I don't think he's going to be elite, but we can always clip this and come back in 12 months' time and go, Anthony, this just goes to show you don't know shit about the club that you've followed all your life. And I will cop that, all right? Went to the first Sydney game at ANZ Stadium before it moved to the SCG, says Stephanos. When was that? What year? What round? How did we go? Tell me. So Chris Talbot, we already spoke about who might play on Heaney. If Warner plays forward, he played a lot of forward. I think he only played like 30% of his game in the midfield against North. So be ready for anything. Sydney are similar to Collingwood in some ways. They've got a lot of versatile players who can really throw spanners in the works because you can't overemphasize locking down or tying this player to this role they're going to play on the night, because it can easily be, completely turned to shit because you study for Warner and Heaney to start at the centre bounce. You might see Heaney and Warner in the forward line to start the bounce, So it's hard to prepare for these types of teams. That's why we recruit players with versatility. You just can't put your finger on it. Luke Davies-Uniacke is off the table. Just signed till 2032 at the Roos. Time to focus on Rouse, says Manny. I say we also need to focus on our NGAs and our father sons. I think there's going to be two of those 4 players could certainly be a first-round draft pick. So 2 first-round draft picks, and we don't have that capital. We've got to get to work on that one. That's for sure. I'm fascinated by the timing of the LDU signing of his contract extension. I feel like he hasn't started the season like a house on fire. So I'm thinking, well, is he panicking and saying, I'm just going to take the contract offer that's in front of me now in case my form continues to dwindle? I'm not too sure. If we had to finish top 4, these are the games we have to win, says Bradley James. Couldn't agree with you more, mate. These are the games we must win. We win tonight by 4 goals. I think we go top of ladder for tonight. Can anyone confirm? Can somebody confirm? I think it's early days, and it's too early in the round. It doesn't even matter, really. You want to look at the ladder post the round finishing, but then again, there's all these buys that have sort of jeopardized the authenticity of the ladder right now. So it's sort of hard to get measurement on where you actually are relative to, games played and all that sort of stuff. I think just keep winning. MD Melbourne says Pies by 24. Mark Quigley says Hoskin Elliott for a sneaky 2-3 goals. I think Hoskin Elliott will probably play that not the Houston role, but he'll play in that position. Unless Perryman goes into the back line and then Hoskin Elliott goes forward and then Ed Allen starts and plays in the middle, you could see that happen for sure. And then Lockie Sullivan is a sub because he's coming off a 5-day break. That's a possibility. Otherwise, he won't be kicking goals from the back line, but you can see that happening. Isaac Quaynor dropped a few kgs, says Dom. Played better when he was a few kgs heavier. Seems to have more confidence when he was bigger. I think he's just playing more of a shutdown role these days, especially with the additions of Houston and Perryman, who can really do good things with ball in hand in transition from our back half to our forward half. The dependence on Quaynor to have ball in hand is nowhere near as important as what it might have been 12 to 24 months ago. So I'm not too stressed about that. As long as he's just competing, I'm not even looking at the stats of Isaac Quaynor at the moment. Jojo says, Long is still young and showing improvement all the time. Let's not set a ceiling on where he can get to. Fair enough. Duke Lab says, Checkers to kick 4 minimum. I'd love that. I've got a bet with my mate Madison. I made a bet with Madison. Madison doesn't think my check will kick 25 goals or more this year. I think we put $50 on. I said, mate, my check is he walks into a game and he averages 2 goals a game. 2 goals, say he plays, even if he plays 15 games and kicks 2 goals a game, I'll win the bet. So I think he's kicked 5 goals from 4 games so far. So we'll see. I'd like to think that's easy money. No? Have you thought of doing a collab with Swoop? No, have not. Well, that's a lie. I've reached out to him, and it just hasn't fallen into place. But I don't think I'll be reaching out to him anytime soon. I think we see things a lot differently, so it is what it is. Got to win by 30 to take first. Okay, there you go. 2006 was the last game we played at ANZ Stadium. Round 12, won by 13 points. Started a 10-game winning streak. There you go. Who else hopes West Coast gives it to Carlton? I'm Adelaide fan, but going for the Pies tonight, says Harvey. Appreciate you, mate. I could we can use as much we can use your support. And sorry for your loss against Geelong last night, but bloody hell, Geelong were unreal in that second half. You just couldn't fault them. Ken Fisher says, ANZ Stadium was the Sydney 2000 Olympics venue. We always played great there. Then Sydney sooked about it, that it advantaged Collingwood and rallied the AFL and got it changed to the SCG. Interesting. Is that a Collingwood fan's perspective? Is that like a Collingwood fan's view on it? Or is that like true that Sydney had a sook because Collingwood were too good on it? I don't know if I can look at that in that lens. Ken? Lance Ward says, Hoskin Elliott to be our gun tonight. He reads a play so well. Perryman, crucial last week in the centre bounce. Hosky back surely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard. It's hard to take Perryman out of the middle after what he did against Carlton. So that way you just, you throw Hoskin Elliott in the back, Lockie Sullivan forward, and Ed Allen sub may or may not be. That's probably the only 2 moving parts that I'm not sure about. God help Voss. Look, I think if Carlton lose again, I just think it's inevitable that he gets a sack. How do you excuse a loss against West Coast? There's just no way around it. Anyways, Ramish, how you going? Hey, mate, what I'm curious about is who can cement their spot in the side of the additions. Intriguing watch. Let's go, fellas. Go Pies. It's a great, thoughtful thought. A thought-provoking idea. A point to take into the game. And yeah, I mean, it's a fair question to ask all of us here is who out of the inclusions will cement their spot. I mean, Hoskin Elliott, if he plays well enough, he just stays in. But then, like, when Dan Houston comes in, I just don't think, yeah, wow. Tough question, man. Ed Allen, but then DeGoey comes back in. And then Lockie Schultz. It's sort of the same conversation, Ramish, about when Checkles is out and Coxie played. Remember how we said Coxie needs to have like not an all-time game, but he needs to kick 4 goals off his own boot to keep his spot and keep someone like Checkers out. I think it's the same thing for Hoskin Elliott. I think it's the same thing for Sullivan and Ed Allen. I think they're going to have games where they get coaches' votes to try and keep the outgoing players out of the side. You know, DeGoey's a superstar. Dan Houston's a superstar. And Lockie Schultz is our form player. How do you keep them out? No one. The others will come back. At least we have major depth. Now we can cover our injuries. Yeah, it's a silver lining in having some of these injuries is knowing that we've got great depth and we still have great availability in the VFL. Yeah, they're best. That's the thing. Like I say earlier in this stream, that Lockie Sullivan, we just need him to play his role, apply the defensive pressure, but if in a couple weeks' time the team is as it is right now and Lockie Schultz is ready to come back in, Lockie Sullivan probably won't be in the team. He'd need to be kicking 2 goals. He'd need to kick 6 goals in the next 3 weeks and have 10, 15 touches to not keep Lockie Schultz out, but pose the question to McRae and say, hey, I'm doing this. Who are you taking out? Because it's not going to be me. Who are you taking out for Lockie Schultz? It's not going to be me. That's what needs to happen. Matty Missy says it might be very hard for Cox to get in unless we have an injury and he fills in for one of our main guys in our current best 22. There you go. Injuries happen anyways. It's just look, knock on wood, I hope significant injuries don't happen. We've already had one this year with Reef, and you can throw in Ash Johnson in there as well. We've had issues with Tom Mitchell. But at the end of the day, we've got the list available to take us as far as we can right now. We've got great health as it stands. John Caxo says, I'd love to see TJ tried on a wing. His athletic capabilities and marking ability could be a big weapon, sneaking forward or dropping back on defense. He could be one who could make the AFL transition. I think they're doing that with CJ at Hawthorn as well. So, yeah, it's a good idea. Actually, I do like that idea. He's athletic. He's got aerial presence, a good hop. So, as TJ grows into himself, and I think he might need another season in the VFL. I'm sure he might get an opportunity along the way this year. But I feel like he's a player that's going to be very important for us over the next 10, 15 years. He's very confident and he's got leadership qualities. So, that's that. What am I drinking? I'm drinking San Pellegrino. Boring, right? But, you know, it gives you that sensation of having a soft drink without having the sugar. So it's just sparkling natural mineral water. And it's very fizzy. That's the way I like it. So, what else? Let's search up Collingwood news and let's see if there's any more developments with regard to this whole Charlie West my check thing. Let's see. Show him new posts. No news. Anything else here? Nothing. Okay. No news is good news then, right? That's what we like to hear. What are some of our other predictions going into this game? We're an hour and 10 away. We're getting closer and closer. What are we thinking? Chris Talbot says, do you think Charlie West will make his debut this year for Collingwood? Probably. If he keeps kicking 4 or 5 in the VFL, he'd be hard done by to not get an opportunity, but Fly will go for experience. So even like tonight, we can see that our emergencies going into this game are Charlie West, Oleg Markov, Mason Cox. I would make the argument that they'd still probably go for... I don't know. Do I really believe that? In most instances, I would say the other 2 emergencies will get an opportunity before Charlie West. Mason Cox could probably stretch Sydney's backline. They're not the tallest. But Fly likes to go for his older, experienced players. I don't know. To answer your question, yes, I think Charlie West will make his debut this year. I'm just trying to ask myself, if Myercheck was to actually be a late out tonight, would Charlie West... It'd be a fairy tale story because he's from South Australia. But anyways... So usually, isn't it? No, isn't it? It's an hour. Matty and Missy, the subs will be announced in 11 minutes. Ned gonna have his breakout game. What do you think he's gonna get, Kynan? What numbers are we talking? Steve-O says Jeremy had to wind back the clock and get mark of the year. He's been playing good footy this year. Very good footy. He's been one of my favourite players, and I think he'll be dearly missed whenever he chooses to retire. Still waiting to see TJ get more games. Looks good to me. Freddie Jong's in the chat. Collingwood Premiership, Twilight or Night Grand Final 2025. Good man. Manny says 10-kilometer wins. Still absolutely perfect condition. Let's fucking go. Getting up at a bit. Hey, let's do it. Let's do it, mate. Pie Man says, how romantic would it be if West was the late call-up? It would be huge. Nick Dacos, Brownlow medal, 36 votes, 2025. Celebrate at the main course, West Melbourne, says Freddie Jong. We love having you here, mate. Andrew says, Josh Dacos, random 2-goal game income. I like it. Just as random as Braden Maynard. It's not as random as a Brazzy Maynard 2-goal game, right? Ned, 22 touches, 6 clearances, 5 tackles and a goal. I remember that. Ned Long will have 30 touches and kick 1 goal, says Chris Talbot. Steve-O says, said this before, but if we know Collingwood, we are due for a draw. Better not, though. I bloody hope not. I'd be absolutely spewing. Absolutely spewing. Can somebody do me a favor? Somebody unsubscribe and resubscribe, because I'm at 3530. It's a live counter, so I want to see it tick up and down. Somebody unsubscribe and then resubscribe. Let me see it move in the bottom left corner here. Come on, feed me. I put in this animation to have a live ticker. I haven't seen it move. I want to see at least, let me see it go down, then back up for a second. See if it works. Checkers due for a bag. What kind, Harry? Manny says, come on, let's lift. We got these maggots. 1 out to the bounce. Send the boys to energy. Manny's G'ing up. Oh, it didn't. Why is it not? So if I... Hold on. If I refresh this, maybe it's not accurate. No. Nah, something's not right. So it's not. I don't think it's working. Hold on. Share screen. It's just not. Okay. It seems to not be doing its thing. Never mind. Anyways. Just did not working. I just threw. Yeah. Not too sure what's happening there, guys. That's okay. I'm still trying to learn how to use this OBS studio platform. It should be doing its thing. Stupid fucking put all this time into it. Anyway, at least the countdown time is working. Yeah, I got the time wrong initially, but we figured it at Malakia. That's it. All these little things. It doesn't really matter, does it? It just makes things look a little bit more prettier than what they should be, huh? Am I right? What are you saying, Digsby? Hold on, this is crazy. MMHE for 12 goals. Myercheck, Membry, McStay, Hoskin, and Jamie Elliott for 12 goals. That's crazy, my man. That is crazy. Pies by 44 tonight, says Reedy. Oh, mate, that'd be nice. Button Ramish says, I have a bev in hand, feet up, jersey on, food in the oven, 1 hour to the bounce. Not too much to be unhappy about there. Yeah, 100%, man. That sounds like a bit of a good night in. Woody, my man, what's the margin tonight? We'll take Digsby's prediction. Pies by 8. Sydney to miss the first 3 shots on goal, says Steve-O. You guys have got some interesting predictions going into this game. But Digsby one is the most fascinating one of them all. He says MMMHE for 12 goals. I'm like, what is that? So Triple M plus Hoskin and Jamie Elliott. But I think we already said Elliott's probably going to play in the back line. So make sure the scoreboard you put up work tonight before I smash my TV for no reason. Hey, I don't think I'm going to do the watch along. I'm not going to do. I know I've been promising and hinting that I'm going to do a watch along, but I've decided that I just want to protect that time where I get to watch the game, whether it's being at the game or watching with my family. I just got to protect some time where I get to sort of just zone out, but zone into the game and not worry about anything else. So I'm not there with watch-alongs yet. Freddie says, I've got money on Pies by 17 points tonight. Celebrate at the casino and I'll go to the main course, West Melbourne. Mate, that's all well and good as long as you take me with you, Mr. Freddie Jong. Hugh says, Billy Frampton for a goal from outside 50. That's another unusual one. Give me more unusual predictions for the game. I'm loving it. That's good. So we had Sydney to miss their first 3 shots on goal. Billy Frampton for a goal from outside 50. Triple M plus HE to kick 12. Quality time with Collingwood, like it, exactly. What else we got? Button Ramish says, I'm heading over for overseas for 6 weeks in a couple of weeks. I'm in need to get as much footy as impossible. Soak it up, man. Hopefully, so if you're leaving in a couple of weeks, that means we have Sydney and Brisbane while you're still here. So hopefully we can be 5-1 before you go overseas. So you can sort of just know and trust that Collingwood are going to be all right while you're away. Unless we go 0-6 while you're away, then you're never going overseas ever again. Not under my watch. Okay, hold on. Stuart Harris says, watch it in peace and swear to your hearts. Watch it in peace and swear to your heart's content in private. I think I know what you're saying there, Stuart. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it live, off stream, and then when we come back, we can unpack it all together. Brazzy first goal again, says Digsby. Giga Chad with a really left field prediction here. Dacos 35 and 2 goals. Jojo, I wouldn't say that's out of the realms of imagination there. Sided to kick 3. I don't think that's too much to ask of the man, is it? Jamie to be our best. 6 goals and Bobby to kick 3. I like that. So Jamie and Bobby to kick 9 between them. I like that. Pendle's first goal of the year. I think, that will blow the proverbial roof off Adelaide Oval if Pendles, picture this, Pendles wins the hit out from DC, handballs it to Nick Dacos, Pendles overlaps, gets the handball over, exits out of the front of the contest, or out of the centre, and just bangs it from like 55 and clears the gates by like 5-10 meters. That would be you wouldn't expect that. Darcy Moore first goal in 3 years. I think he had a shot on target against Carlton. Heaney and Warner, 14 disposals combined, I think you're saying, Stefanos. Rusty, three Brownlow votes. I reckon he's due. Isaac Quaynor for Mark of the Year contender. Does he have that in his wheelhouse, though? Hoskin Elliott, first time he kicks 3 goals since pre-COVID. Ned Long. I like that one. Ned Long to tackle someone and don't get back up. That's a nice one. Remember to kick 5? I'm liking it. Pies to break the record tackle count for a game in the AFL. I like it. DC to spank Grundy and Bobby Hill to light it up. First goal and last. I like it, Pia. Do you think Titch is best 23 when healthy this year? Let me answer that after we see how Ned Long goes tonight. I can give you a more definitive answer after that. Darcy Moore, 8 contested marks, his game. So that's a monster game, mate. 8 games, 8 contested marks is a lot. 8 intercept marks is more achievable than 8 contested marks. So that would be, humongous. DC 100 games. Don't forget, Steve-O. Darcy Cameron to kick 2 goals in his 100th game. I've got DC 2 goals and 20 touches. And then we save Jamie Elliott for his 200 game milestone. He can have a big one then. But Andrew says he can see Billy Elliott having a masterclass tonight in game 199. Heck, we'll take tonight and next Thursday. Why not? Sully could have a breakout game. What does a breakout game for Lockie Sullivan look like to you, Steve-O? Jamie Elliott will have a blinder tonight, says Digsby. Okay, let's see if we can get any clarity around the sub. Any updates on Twitter? Let's see. So we're almost an hour out. We should find out, right? It's usually an hour before the game, is it not? Can somebody confirm? I'm pretty sure it's an hour out before the game that they confirm the subs. I'm almost all but certain. Bo to chip in with at least a goal and 10 tackles minimum. Yeah, if Bo can get I'm not married to his stats either. He's one of those players that falls in the same sort of category as Isaac Quaynor right now. But if Bo can just apply that ground pressure, look, with Lockie Schultz out, we just want a couple more small forwards or those pressure forwards to put their hand in with some goals. Come on. Refresh. Who's the sub? Come on. If we go AFL home, maybe that will tell us. Latest news. Still nothing. I'm still looking for the sub. We're under an hour, so we should have some sort of something telling us. Who do we think it's going to be? I think it could be Ed Allen or Lockie Sullivan. I was pretty certain it would be Ed Allen, but just remembering that Lockie Sullivan played the full game in the VFL on Sunday makes me think that might not be the case anymore. Still nothing. Swans forward are like the trees in Lord of the Rings, slow and clumsy. Stewart says Bo to hard tag Heaney. Maybe as he rolls into the stoppages, but obviously not in a centre bounce, I don't think. I mean, at the same time, Bo does sometimes attend a centre bounce. Just 1 goal is all Digsby's asking from Bo Crew tonight. Terminator have 10 clearances. Who's the Terminator? Who is the Terminator? Who's that, Rick? You're talking about Ned Long? Come on, guys. Give me the sub. Refresh X again. You reckon Allen will be the sub, Mazza? Allen sub. Yep, wasn't an interchange. Ed Allen is the sub. Where are we seeing this? I've been refreshing it. Fixture. What are you guys doing that I'm not? Line up. There we go. Yeah, Ed Allen sub. Angus Sheldrick sub for Sydney. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. Anyways, guys, thanks for sticking around. While you're here, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, leave a like on the video, and hopefully we see you guys in the post game. Jump in, have your say, and hopefully it's a win. Go Pies.